Hello people, how are you doing? I hope you're ready for the live class. Today I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to join in, and while you are joining in, do feel free to let me know where you're coming in from and how's your practice going. Alright, people are coming through. We are going to do a nice morning flow today, focusing on our hips and hamstrings. And for this class, all you're going to need is 2 blocks and a towel, a yoga towel or any towel will do, because we are going to do some sliding work. So if you have a towel under your feet, it's going to be easier. Hi guys. Alright, I think we can get started with the class. So I want you to meet me on your mat in a lying down position, just connecting with your breath in the beginning. After that, we will do some work to activate the lower body, which is our legs and our glutes. So let's begin. Just take a nice comfortable position on your mat, with the knees bent preferably. Close your eyes and take a couple of moments to breathe deeply. Just inhaling and exhaling. Take 3 such deep breaths. Every time you breathe in, try to find greater expansion in your belly, and as you exhale, take the navel all the way back to the spine, just to activate your lungs and prepare yourself for the practice we will do today. Let's do 2 more breaths like this. Inhale and exhale completely. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Alright, from here I want you to now fold your mat in half. I'm going to fold my mat in half so that you can see me. You can do that too, just for greater cushioning. And what I'm also going to do is turn off the comments so everybody can see clearly what I'm saying. Oops. How did that happen? I'm sorry about that. Okay. This always is a challenge for me. Okay, now I've turned off the comments. Let's begin. Lying down on the mat. This time grab your towel. Keep the towel right in front of you. It could even be a yoga blanket. Keep it right here under the heels, and we are going to do just some sliding work to activate the legs. I want you to, with intention, push the blanket away till you straighten your knees, and then as you exhale, pull it back in, digging the heels into the ground. Let's do this 5 times. Inhale, push the blanket away from you, and exhale, dig the heels into the ground with intention, building some isometric activation there, and pull it back. Let's just do 3 more. Inhale and exhale back. 2 more. Inhale, push the blanket away from you, and exhale, pull it back. 1 more time. Inhale. The legs should be feeling a little warmed up by now. That's exactly what we're going for. And exhale back. We are going to add a little modification now. I'm going to use a block and grab it between my feet like this and on the ankles. If you don't have a block, you can even use a book or just an empty carton or a box can also do. I just want a little engagement here while you do this. So 3 rounds now of what we were doing, but this time gripping this block between our feet. Let's go for it. Inhale, straighten the legs, and exhale, pull it back in. Inhale for 2. Exhale, pull it in. Last one. Inhale and exhale, bring it back in. Let's keep the block aside for a second. If you like, you can even move the blanket aside for a second. We are going to do Setu Bandhasana, or what's also called the glute bridge. So keeping your feet under the knees, just enough so that your fingertips can graze your heels. Press your elbows into the ground, and then on an inhale, lift the hips up off the floor and breathe here. Take 1 deep breath and then exhale. exhale down. We'll do 2 more right here. Inhale up. Take a breath, stop for a moment and exhale down. Last one. Inhale up and exhale down. Modifying this a little bit, I want you to walk the feet forward. Rest yourself on the heels, rest your legs on the heels. Balls of the feet are off the floor. Now with this distance, let's do Setu Bandhasana again. Inhale, lift. Hold for a second and then exhale down. This will engage your hamstrings more. So this is a hamstring dominant bridge posture. This will be the previous one, which is more of a glute dominant and also can be a little bit of a back bend. So let's do 4 more of this here. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Inhale. Third one. Hold for a second. Exhale down. Inhale. We just have 2 more to do. And back. Last one. Inhale, lift and hold for a count of 5. Digging the heels into the floor. 4, 3, 2, 1 and slowly release. Straighten the legs for a moment. I'm going to slide up and I want you to just flex and point your feet, alternating this, trying to go deeper into your calves and your hamstrings as you do this. You can lift your head up and look at your toes, or you can rest it on the floor. Just pointing and flexing like this. 1 foot at a time with intention. Let's do a couple more rounds here. Get the legs nice and warmed up. And then release. Come to a sitting position. If you also folded your mat, now is a good time to straighten it out. And come into tabletop position right here. I'm going to do a lot of work just warming up the legs through some drills before we move into sun salutation and our postures. So work with me on this. We are going to do a variation of Vyagrasana. For this, coming into this sharp tabletop posture, I want you to lift one leg up so that it's almost parallel to the floor, knees bent at 90 degrees. Don't let the lower back drop. Keep it pulled in and engaged. And we are going to just kick the leg up 9 times, starting now. Gently. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and back. Let's do the other leg. Lift it up. Navel pulled in strong. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Let's do a little stretch. Extend the leg back out and lean back into it and hold that right there. It's good to give you a little break before we move to the next drill, and also helps you stretch out the calves a little bit. All the time we continuously working on trying to stretch the hamstrings, but it's equally important to try to strengthen them as well, and that's pretty much the theme of this class today. Release. Let's do the other foot. Extend it back and lean back into it, trying to press your heel into the floor, just like this. Without bending the knee, trying to keep the leg straight. Alright, one more breath right here. And then come back. From here, lift the knees up. Come into a downward dog. If this is really tight for you right now, you can always bend the knees, lift the heels off the floor and hold this variation, taking your time to gently pedal one heel and then the other. And whenever you're ready, just hold the full downward facing dog and take 2 breaths here. And then walk your feet forward between the hands. Bring your hands up all the way. Look up where the thumbs meet. And let's prepare for sun salutations now, Hatha style. Let's begin. Ekam, inhale and exhale. Dve, inhale, arch back. Trini, exhale, bend forward. Chatwari, inhale, right leg back. Exhale, left leg back. Knees down, chest down, chin or forehead on the floor. Inhale, slide up, Bhujangasana. Exhale, push back, Udarasana or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, right foot forward. Exhale, left leg forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release. Ekam, Namaskara. Inhale and exhale here. Dve, inhale, arch back. Three, exhale, bend forward in Uttanasana. Inhale, left leg back. Knee can be off the floor or on the floor, your choice. And then right leg back. Exhale into plank. Hold your breath. Come down. Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg forward, knee on or off the floor. Exhale, left leg forward. Inhale, look up. And exhale, release. Round 2. Ekam, Dve, Urdhvahasta, Trini, Padahasta, Chatvari, Ashva Sanchalan, Pancha, Palakasana, Shat, Ashtanga Namaskar, Sapta, Bhujangasana, Ashtha, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Nava, right foot forward comes up again. Ashva Sanchalan. Dasha, Padahasta Uttanasana. Ekadasha, Urdhvahasta. Dwadasha, Samastiti. On the other side, Ekam, Dve, Trini, Chatvari, left leg back this time. Pancha, right leg. Shat, Sapta, Ashtha, Nava, left leg forward. Dasha, right leg forward. Ekadasha, look up. Dwadasha, release. We are going to do one more round. We are working on the hamstrings, we need them warmed up. So let's go for it. Ekam, Dve, Trini, Chatvari, right leg back. Pancha, left leg back. Shat, Sapta, Ashtha, Nava, right leg forward again. Dasha, Ekadasha, Dwadasha. Last one on the left side now. Ekam, Dve, Trini, Chatvari, left leg back. Pancha, right leg. Shat, come down. Sapta, inhale. Ashtha, exhale. Nava, left leg forward. Dasha, right foot forward. Ekadasha, look up. Dwadasha, release. Take a couple of movements here just to catch your breath again. And whenever you're ready, keep slight distance between your feet, hands on the waist. And as you exhale, start bending forward from the hips, coming into a half forward bend just like this. Remember, when we're trying to do a forward bend, you want to maintain your hips above your ankles. So if you're somewhere here, try to shift here And if this is really difficult, always bend the knees and work with that. You can also use 2 blocks to help you get here. Whichever variation you choose, work with that, and let's just hold this here for 3 deep breaths. Remember, it's perfectly alright even if you're somewhere here, as long as you're feeling some activation in the backs of your legs, it's absolutely fine. So don't push yourself, don't do this, don't get aggressive with the body. Just work at a level that's comfortable for you. Preferably with your hands off if it's alright. Adding this little pulsing movement here where you exhale, sink closer to the floor. And as you inhale, you lift up to this 90 degrees and exhale, go back down further. You need a bit of strength to come out of your end range of motion, and that is what we are going for here. So even if you are just here, work on this. Maybe the knees are bent and then lift up halfway. Bend forward to your end range of motion, and from that last point that you can bend, just lift up with control. Make sure it's not going into your lower back. Your navel is pulled in strong. We are trying to find strength in the back body, in the posterior chain, which we keep focusing on making more flexible, but it will not become flexible till it is also strong. So work with me here. Let's just do 3 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. Excellent. Hold it, hold it, hold, and then exhale, lower. Bring your hands on the floor or onto blocks or on a chair, whatever is accessible right now. And then let's add some twisting movement here. Bend the right knee, take the left hand up overhead, getting a little bit of thoracic rotation in our spine as well. And then exhale down, inhale, lift. And back. I think the music's gotten a bit loud. I'm going to reduce it. Why don't you continue doing this? Just lifting one hand up, bending the opposite knee, and then the other. If you're doing this on a block, it'll look like this. Right? Let me go figure out the music. Do at least 5 rounds of this, and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, how are we doing? Let's get into it. One more round, let's do with me. Inhale, lift the left hand up, right knee bends. Exhale down, lift the other hand up, left knee bends, and release. Now we're going to do the single leg version of what we were doing with a little modification. So let me show it to you with the blocks first. Rest both your hands on the blocks. Lift your left leg off the floor. Let me move ahead a little so you can see what's going to happen. Yes, from here, the hips are facing down towards the floor, but I want you to open the hips out so the toes are pointing forward. You're externally rotating the top hip, and then as you exhale, you bring it back to face the ground. You can keep this knee slightly bent, and then you can work on doing this. You can even come on to the fingertips of the left hand to help you get here, and then back. So lift, open, and back. Let's do this 5 times on each side, with blocks or without blocks, depending on what's comfortable for you. Join me now in this half moon kind of modification. Inhale, lift, open, hold for a second, exhale back. Inhale, lift, open, and exhale, facing the hips towards the floor. Inhale up for 3 and back for 4. Very good, and back. Last time here. Inhale, open, hold, and exhale back. Bring both the feet back. Hug yourself, let the lower back release a little bit, and take a moment here before we repeat this on the other side. Okay, let's get back to it. Hands on the floor, this time taking the right leg up. Inhale, open the hips up, and exhale, point it back down for 1. Inhale, open, exhale, back. You should be feeling it at different points in the leg at this time. Inhale, up for 3. This is important because hamstring is not just one muscle. It's a muscle, it's a group of muscles that inserts at different points in our joints. So working them in different directions is important. I think that was the 4th one. Let's do the 5th one. Inhale, lift, point the toes away from you, and exhale, bring it back. Sit back down in Balasana and hug yourself for a little bit before we move into the next part of the series. What we are now going to do is transition into downward facing dog. Just holding this here. We're going to do the triangle series. So bring your right foot forward between the hands and rise up into this wide-legged stance. My right foot is facing out, my left foot is turned in a little bit. Keep only as much distance between the legs as is comfortable for you. The goal is to keep the hips facing forward and not like this. So work on a distance that allows you to do this with your hips. Then take your hands out, bend to one side and look up. Now, an important thing to note here is you don't want this to happen. Remember, we did that opening of the hip in the previous posture. So keep the hips open, keep the chest open. And a very good trick to do that is this little arm movement I'm going to show you. So as you exhale, raise your fingertips towards the floor, make a full circle, inhale, and that helps you open the chest. One more time. Exhale, fingertips to the floor, inhale, lift and open. And let's hold this for 5 deep breaths. Try not to dump your weight entirely into your leg. See, you should be able to hold up without using your bottom hand. Bottom hand is just making it a little comfortable, but you're still alert, you're still active. 3 more breaths right here. Inhaling and exhaling. Your drishti can be facing forward at a point on the floor or up towards your hand. Let's take one more deep breath here. Inhale and exhale. From here, bend the knee, come up. Let's switch sides. Left leg points out, right knee turns in a little bit. Hands parallel to the floor, right foot turns in a little bit. Exhale and lean down. Pointing your hands up towards the sky, ensuring that you're able to maintain this stance without dumping your weight into your front leg. Let's add in that little arm movement now. So exhale, raise the floor with your fingertips. Make a full circle, inhale, look up. And then exhale, reach your hand forward, down to the floor. Inhale, look up. 5 deep breaths right here. Make sure both feet are firmly grounded on the floor. Your back foot especially should not be inactive. Inhale and exhale. And keep checking with the posture. If it's leaning forward, come up a little bit and then get the alignment right. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here. Inhale and exhale completely. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Then bend the knee, rise up, come into this wide-legged stance, hands on the waist. Let's get it forward, bend it, try now, which is our Prasarita Padottanasana. From here, hands on the waist, exhale, start bending forward, fingertips on the floor or on a block, whatever is comfortable. This is how it will look from the side. I just want you to come at this average level of your, moderate level of your Prasarita Padottanasana. Don't go in too deep. Take 2 breaths with me here. Keeping legs a comfortable distance wide. Don't go too wide so that you're in your middle split. I want you to be as wide as you can while still maintaining control of your legs. The legs should not be at such a deep stretch that you cannot pull them back using the strength that you have. Let's add the same twisting movement we did earlier in Uttanasana. So on an inhale, take your left hand up. Exhale down. Inhale, take the right hand up. Exhale down. Let's do this a couple of times. Left hand up. Remember, you can always have your hands on a block. Right hand up. Try to keep your posture neutral, your hips neutral, not shifting them too much to the right and left. Exhale back. This is how it should look from the front. And back. Let's do one more round each side. The other hand. And release. From here, let's see if we can add a little twist. Grab your left ankle with your right hand and take your left hand back, grabbing hold of your right thigh. If this is difficult for you, you can always just hold this variation. Just hold this twist here, or if you're ready to push yourself a little bit, go into this deeper stretch and hold for 3 deep breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale for 2. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale for 3. Return to neutral. Bend the legs slightly if you need to. And then give that forward, bend another, try your Prasarita Padottanasana. Before we repeat this on the other side, remember you always have the option to hold this variation right here. You come into this twist, this is also engaging your legs. Or if you're ready, you can grab hold of your right ankle with the left hand and grab hold of your opposite thigh with the right hand and hold for 3 breaths here. Inhale. And exhale for 1. Inhale. Exhale for 2. Inhale. And exhale for 3. Slowly release. Bend the knees slightly, straighten them again, do that one more time. Bend the knees slightly. Move a little side to side as if you're coming into Skandasana. Give yourself that little break and relief. And then come into Skandasana on your left side. So my right toes are pointing up. My left heel is on the floor. It can also be off the floor depending on what's my comfort level. Or your comfort level, you can always use a block as well. So choose a variation that works and let's hold that for 3 breaths. A lot of work is happening in the legs and I particularly like to stretch the hamstrings through different postures which work on the adductors as well, on the outside of the legs as well, and adding a little movement, any intuitive movement kind of helps the body relax as well. So you can even just do this. Inhale and exhale back. Inhale, look up. Exhale back. Gentle mindful movement like this always helps relax the body and helps you find greater flexibility as well. Let's switch legs to the other side. Finding your comfort level. Remember, this is also an option. It is fine. And then you can also add your movement if you would like. Or you can keep it still, close your eyes and turn inwards. On different days, we have different moods and different requirements, so you should also allow your intuition to seep into your practice and guide you through it, especially when you're practicing at home by yourself. Let's take one more breath here. Inhale and exhale completely, and then rise up. Come into a standing position, pigeon toe your feet, and come into a standing position right here to take 2 to 3 deep breaths, but adding some movement with our legs. After this, we move on to our hips. All I want you to do is hands on the waist. Inhale, lift up, stay here. Exhale down. Inhale, lift, stay. Find your balance. Exhale down. Last one. Inhale, lift and stay. Stay for a while. If and only if you're ready, feel free to take your hands up, pointing your fingertips to the sky and hold it. Focus on your breath. Find a point in front of you. Focus there. Reaching up, staying tall, not sinking into your posture. Reach. Just for 5 more. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. And slowly release. Alright, from here, come into a sitting position which looks kind of like this. So it's a modified 90-90. So my heel is against my knee and the other leg is just pointing back. Whatever is comfortable for you right now, don't worry too much about it. And I just want you to add some swaying movement side to side. Bending towards the leg which is externally rotated is challenging. The other one is more relaxing. So allow yourself to just get comfortable here. Swaying side to side, feeling that engagement in the hips as soon as you come towards the leg which is pointing back, and then hold it there. Hold that position, feeling a deep stretch into your hip flexors as well as a little bit into your TFL, and hold. Trying to bring your elbow closer to the floor while also trying to keep the knee fixed on the floor. The opposite knee. And from here, let's add a different movement. Just turn back and then turn forward or turn back on the other side. So just swing side to side. Anytime I swing, I don't do it very fast, right? If you see, this is not what I'm doing. I'm still moving with the breath as if I'm wading through an atmosphere that is slightly thick, and it's not just free-flowing movement like that. Because moving to add a little control in your movement, you are using more of your strength and you're not just dumping your weight into the weak areas of your body. So always move with control. That is what is going to help you break those patterns of our posture which we have set over years of repeated misuse. So one more time, this side and then the other side, turning back into a little twist and release. Let's switch legs. Again, a 90-90 modified position. Let's swing side to side. Feels really good. And especially when we start doing any kind of hip work, it's also very relaxing. On the other side, let's do a couple more here. And then on the left side for me, which is the externally rotated leg, the leg pointing back, that's where you hold. You'll notice one side is always tighter than the other. That's a good way to make a mental note which part of the body is giving you more trouble. And breathe here, trying to bring the elbow down towards the floor without being aggressive with the body. And return. Let's add the rotational movement. Just turn back to one side, then to the left side, to the right for me, look back, and then to the left, which is going to be a little harder, but just work with it. Turn back, using your hands on the floor as leverage to give you that grip to twist, and then the other side, twist, and this side, twist, and back to center. Now I add a little bit of dynamic movement. I'm going to be on the mat so I don't slip and slide. Make sure both your knees are on the mat. If you need to cushion them, now is the time that you can just lay a blanket in front of you under the knees. Otherwise, just work with the mat. I want you to lift up, take your hands all the way up, tap back on the other side, and then sit back. Then we will switch. I'm going to show it to you from the side this time so you can see what's happening. So we are like this, both knees on the floor, otherwise you'll slide off the floor. On the mat, I mean. You're like this, tap, tap, and then come back. Try not to use your hands, but switch and rise up on this side, tap, tap, and sit back without using your hands coming into 90-90 here. So you may need to shift around depending on what kind of material you're wearing, what kind of flooring you have. You will slide off on the floor, so stay on the mat and let's do this 3 rounds. Lift, tap the floor this side, come back, other side, rise up, tap, and back. That's 1 round. Moving on to round 2, lift. You can even just work with this if the tapping action is not comfortable for your lower back here. So just work with rising up and switching. That's round 2. So round 3 on this side. Let's do the other side. That's the last one. Adjust. And sit back. One more little work we are going to do in this 90-90 stretches. They're a great way to open out the hips, so why not? This time come into more of a proper 90-degree posture at both the knees. So both knees are at 90 degrees. This is how I am from the side, and this is how it is from the front. All I want you to do is lean forward, come back, and you can use your hands, lean back, come back. Or you can do this without using your hands, forward, back, and forward. Choose your level and work with that. One side is obviously more challenging. Like I said, the leg which points back is where the most challenge is. Let's do 2 more of these. Forward, back, and forward. 1 more time. Here and back. Last one. Take your hands out, and from here I want you to now lift the back foot off the floor. So this is where we are. Hands out, or hands can be on the floor if it's very challenging, or lift, engage, hold, and back. Hands out. You can even turn here, lift, hold, and back. We'll do 3 more right here. Let's get into it. 1 and back. 2 more. Lift and back. Hold it up for a second. If you get a cramp, simply straighten out your leg and then try again, or rest it out. Inhale, lift and back. Very good. Switching sides. Again, with hands or without hands, leaning forward. Getting into nice 90-degree angle here. And then leaning back. Forward and back. 4 more to go. Forward without hands is more challenging. Then back. Forward. Third. 2 more to go. Forward and back. 1 more. Forward and back. To the opposite side and back. Now adding in those lifts right here. Lift up. The back foot is lifting off the floor and down. Lift up and down. 2 more to go, or 3 more to go actually. Lift up and down. Let me show it to you from the side as well. The 2 that we are left with. Lift up, hold up and back. Last one. Lift up, up, hold, and back. Release. Very good. Hug both the knees in, lift up, try to balance on your hips for a bit. Like this. Take 2 to 3 deep breaths. And let me also check how much time we are left with. We have a fair bit of time, so let's continue. From here, we're going to do a bit of modified lunge work. So I want you to come into your lunge position right here. Actually, stay with me in the lunge position before I do the modification. We are going to add a little side bend into this. Coming into this 90-degree angle, same way as we were doing while being flat on the floor. Now we lift it up. Take your right hand on your right quad. Left hand goes up overhead and bend towards the side. Avoid bringing your chest forward and trying to keep your torso upright and 90 degrees to the floor. You work with that. This is how it would look from the front and up. If you are comfortable, you can even rest your opposite hand on the floor, or you can use the help of a block to get deeper into this side bend. Take a few deep breaths here. Now is the time of the class we'll start holding the postures longer, start tuning in more to our breath, slowing ourselves down and settling into each posture deeper and deeper, using the process of our breath, inhaling and exhaling. The longer you hold the posture, maybe you feel that the body is allowing you to go a little deeper as you hold it. And then slowly release. Let's repeat this on the other side. So switching legs, coming into a 90-degree angle at both the knees and bending to the side. Feel free to take your block along with you, or you can just rest your hand on your quad. This is a particularly good stretch for those of us who spend a lot of time sitting, for runners and cyclists as well, because the hips tend to be in constant flexion. Especially runners and cyclists use a lot of this hip flexion power to push through their individual spots. So stretching these muscles out in the front, in the side, is usually very therapeutic. Don't forget your mindful breathing. You can even just close your eyes and enjoy the feelings and the sensations or the messages that the body may send to you. Release. Coming back into this modified lunge position, which looks like this. So your standard lunge posture was right here. I'm now going to take the back foot and point it back, and my right foot is pointing forward. So they are kind of at 90 degrees to each other. This is how it is. I'm just walking it forward. Okay, and if you would like, you can also use a blanket to cushion the knee. I'm going to do that. From here, now again adding a little side bend, placing your right hand on your right quad, taking your left hand up overhead, reaching with your fingertips, no dead hands, right? Reaching with your fingertips as if you want to touch whatever is in front of you. Hold this position. If you feel comfortable, you can even bring your right hand down, but don't collapse. Right hand down, chest faces up, and hold it right here. If you are comfortable, you can always extend this distance between the legs. Make sure they're well aligned and comfortable though, and then work with this. Holding up. You always have your block as well. And use that to keep your posture right, your shoulders well aligned. So this is almost like a side angle pose or Parshvakonasana, but in a little modification. Kind of feels more deeply into your adductor muscles. I'm going to shift to the side so I don't go out of the frame. And slowly come up. Add a little movement here. I particularly love to do this movement. As you exhale, bring the hips closer to the floor. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. For those of us who are very tight in the adductors, have challenges with postures like Padmakonasana or the butterfly pose or the frog pose, this is what can help you open up the muscles. Let's just do 2 more of these and back. 1 more. Exhale, sink closer and back. Let's switch legs. Bending the right knee now. Both knees are bent, but the right foot is pointing back. Left knee is on the floor. Left knee is pointing in that direction. What is up with me? Take your right hand up and point it up to the other side. Left hand on the left quad. This is one variation. If this is comfortable for you, you're feeling enough of a stretch, stay here. If you feel nothing, then you can bring your left hand down and see if it goes a little bit into your deep inner thigh muscles. To make it moderately difficult and not as intense, use a block. Remember, your one side may be different or may have different flexibility than the other. So if you did not use a block on one side, does not mean you don't have to use it on the other. You can use it on one side because the body may need it. 2 more breaths right here. Trying to keep your chest open. One more. Inhale and exhale. Rise up. Just doing those little dynamic moves. Exhale, hips closer to the floor. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink in. Inhale, back. Exhale. Inhale, back up. Exhale, let's do 2 more. Sink closer. Lift up. 1 more time. Sink closer. Hold for a second and lift up. From here, bring both knees on the floor. Take a break if you need to. I'm going to do the last dynamic move here just to release the body before we move into static postures. From here, I want you to inhale, lift the hands up and exhale, twist. Come into a deeper twist, rise up and back. Just do 3 of these with me. Let's begin. Inhale, exhale, inhale and exhale right here. Going deeper into the twist. Inhale up and back to center. Exhale, twist. Come down. Take a breath and exhale here. Inhale up. Exhale. Come down. Last one. Into this twist. Then rise up and release. We just do this quickly on the other side. It's going to help release the spine. Inhale, exhale, come down, look up, rise up, back up. Exhale, twist, bring the hand down, go a little deeper into this twist, and then come back up. Last one, exhale, come down. Twist a little deeper as you inhale and exhale, and then come up and release. From here, come into a nice child pose. Bring the knees apart and forehead on the floor. Letting your chest sink towards the floor for a few breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. From here, press your hands into the floor, rise up. We are going to move into supine postures. Let me see how much time we are left with. Enough time. So from here, I want you to lie down with your knees bent. Bring your left foot up, pointing towards the sky, and try to bring the left knee towards the floor. So this is your half happy baby posture variation. This is how it would look from here, still in the frame. You're trying to bring the knee towards the floor. It's alright if it doesn't come, it can even be here. And if it's too difficult, you can even just grab hold of the leg from right here to pull it in towards the outside of your chest. Working with this, take 3 breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. Make sure that your tailbone is not lifting off the ground. Keep the tailbone stuck to the floor if you can. That's going to increase the stretch in your hamstrings as well. And release. Let's do this on the other side. Lifting the foot up, bringing the knee close towards the floor. Yes. Let's take 3 breaths here. Trying to keep the foot flexed. Don't pull the foot so much towards you. That is why it's a good idea to probably grab at the heel and then work on bringing the knee towards the floor. And release. Let's try to do this with both the feet up now. And then pressing the knees towards the floor. As you do this, try not to lift your hips off the floor. Try not to do this because you are just extending your spine, whereas I want the stretch to be in this area of the body. So keeping the tailbone towards the floor and using that as leverage to get a nice stretch into the backs of the legs and the hips and even the inner thighs. We'll be here for a good minute or so, so close your eyes. If you would like to gently rock side to side, you can do that. If you would like to be completely still, then you can do that. Either ways, just remember to breathe deeply, mindfully, and slowly. In today's class, we combined some mobility work, some stretching work, some strengthening work for our legs. Mostly our hamstrings and a little bit of our glutes as well. This is a good way to just unwind a little from the practice. Keep checking in with your tailbone or your lower back. In order to bring the knees closer to the floor does not mean we have to lift up like this. That's just not what this posture is meant for. So use conscious control, use a strength element in all your postures. Never just passively push, pull and tug the body into stretches. It's always moving against a position of strength, not sinking into complete weakness. Often we can be very flexible if we are weak in certain joints, so we have to be very careful about that. Always work on strength and flexibility both. Alright, let's release the legs slowly. We can even do a little circles with the knees to reset the spine. Let's just do 3 circles in each direction. And then the other. And to conclude, we can do the bridge pose again. That's just a very good way to reset the hamstrings. So we are going to do that, but a moderate version. So again, press the elbows into the floor. Lift the hips up off the floor. Don't come into your full back bend yet. Do this 60-70% of it. Come on, press your heels into the floor and hold this position here, trying to flatten your front of the body, but not going into a back bend. And hold that here. Just walk the hands, your legs forward slightly, just like we did in the beginning. Come onto your heels. Let me shift up. So you're onto your heels now. The hips are still lifted. Pressing the heels into the floor, lifting up a little higher. And hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly release. Straighten your legs here, palms facing up. Close your eyes. Make sure your feet are slightly apart, wide distance. Even your hands should be away from the body, not too close. Just enough circulation should be there at your armpits. And close your eyes. And follow the next set of my instructions. I want to make sure I don't overrun the time. Alright, looks like I'm going to overrun the time. I would have loved to do some equal breathing. So please do that practice on your own. Inhaling and exhaling for an equal length of time. A good number to work with is a count of 6. So you can inhale for a count of 6 and exhale for a count of 6. Let me see if I can quickly give you one round of that practice. So take one normal breath in, just everybody align your breath, and then exhale completely, empty out that breath, and let's begin. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And like that, continue on your own. You can do up to 10 to 12 rounds of equal breathing. I'm going to be right here for those of you who would like to chat, and I'm going to just end this session so I can save it and quickly come back in for any Q&As or questions or any other thoughts you may have to share. So I'll try to spend about 5 to 10 minutes on that. Let me save this session. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon in a minute.